Okay, let's unpack this. We're speeding toward that, that really strange time of year.
Yeah, that hyper-commercialized intersection.
Exactly. Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Cyber Monday. It's just a complete blur of spending and, frankly, distraction.
Mm-hmm.
But right after all that digital noise finally settles down, we hit Giving Tuesday, this global moment that's dedicated entirely to philanthropy.
A moment of clarity, almost.
It should be. But too often, organizations treat Giving Tuesday as this 24-hour sprint. They're scrambling for last-minute dollars.
Right. A total panic.
Our sources, though, they tell a far more compelling and, I think, strategic story. So the mission today is clear. We are taking a deep dive into the research that proves Giving Tuesday is a game changer. But, and this is the key, only if the preparation starts right now.
Not in a month, not in a week.
Now.
Yes.
We need to understand the 3 essential pillars that can transform this single day from just a temporary spike into, well, a sustainable launch pad for an organization's growth.
It's about building something that lasts.
We're going to cut through the noise and give you those high-impact nuggets you need to leverage this whole event for long-term strategic advantage, not just, immediate revenue. And before we jump into that crucial first step, a quick note for you. You can find more information on all sorts of fundraising methods, from crafting your annual strategy to optimizing digital outreach at fundraisingcourses.com.
And that strategic approach you mentioned is exactly what the source material is stressing. Giving Tuesday isn't just about collecting checks.
No.
It's an opportunity to build deep organizational momentum, to attract entirely new demographics of supporters, and to exponentially expand your long-term reach.
So what you're saying is if an organization only treats December as a deadline for donations, they're missing the point.
They're missing the much larger potential for relationship building. And that is what defines sustainable success.
That sets the stage perfectly.
That's-
So let's start with our first pillar of preparation, which is all about the donor. Now, I'll admit, when I first looked at this research, the primary finding was, well, it was surprising. The sources say Giving Tuesday may not generate the largest single-day revenue for established nonprofits.
Right. That often comes later in December, closer to the holidays.
So if the immediate cash isn't the #1 goal, what is? What are we really aiming for?
The real focus is on the donor acquisition funnel, and specifically, you're targeting the small dollar giver.
The small dollar giver.
Yeah. We need to shift away from fixating on the size of that initial transaction and really recognize that a small donation is a vital entry point. The sources are explicit that while these first-time donors usually contribute smaller sums, the long-term strategic value is just immense.
But wait, if we're talking about optimizing time and marketing spend now, in October and November, isn't it smarter to spend those resources pursuing known major donors or working on securing grants where the return on investment is immediate and high? Why chase thousands of $10, $25 gifts?
That is a critical question, and the data gives us a really compelling answer. While that first gift is small, the sources note that when they're successfully retained, the lifetime value of a recurring small donor is often 4 to 5 times higher than a one-time major donor. 4 to 5 times? Wow. Yeah. The major donor gives you a high spike, for sure, but the small, recurring donor, that offers sustained, predictable mission funding. And Giving Tuesday is what attracts people who are ready to make that initial low-commitment connection.
So the real work isn't just building a pretty donation form.
No, not at all. The preparation is about perfecting what the sources call the retention imperative. And starting that now, the real work actually begins the moment the donation is processed.
The moment it's processed.
Yes. Organizations must have a robust plan in place today for welcoming, thanking, and engaging these new small-dollar donors between December 1st and the end of the year.
I see. So the strategic work right now is setting up the systems for post-event relationship building, not just the campaign mechanics.
Exactly.
So what does that actionable strategy look like?
It involves 2 crucial steps. First, immediate segmented communication. A small dollar first-time donor needs a very different welcome journey than, say, a lapsed donor who's just returning.
So you can't just send a generic thank you.
You can't. You need to be segmenting your email lists now so that the thank you email on December 1st shows the specific impact of a $25 donation. Make it tangible. And second, demonstrating that impact through transparency. You need to send timely updates about what their collective contributions achieved. Don't wait for the annual report in 6 months.
Show in January.
Show them in January. Offer specific opportunities for deeper involvement, whether that's volunteering, sharing a social post, or attending a quick online briefing. That sustained, purposeful engagement is the bridge. It's what transforms a first-time giver into a committed, lifelong supporter.
You're converting an impulse action into a genuine investment.
That's the goal.
That reframing, seeing the small gift as a long-term investment, not a one-off transaction, that's fundamental. But to get those small donors, you first have to be found.
Right.
And that brings us to our second essential pillar of preparation: visibility. Every nonprofit knows that during that Q4 scramble, even leading organizations can just get completely lost in the noise.
Oh, absolutely.
Giving Tuesday creates this rare collective moment where philanthropy gets a global spotlight. For smaller organizations, the goal has to be massive awareness. It's about reinforcing their essential local role.
And visibility is, well, it's worthless if the message is weak. This is where preparation has to focus on locking down the strategic narrative, the case for support.
Okay, and what does that mean exactly?
For the professionals listening, we aren't just talking about, writing a definition of the mission. We're talking about refining a multi-channel, battle-tested argument that's designed specifically to break through that commercial clutter of Black Friday.
So more than just a mission statement.
Much more. Preparation now means taking that core narrative and creating 3 distinct micro-campaigns instead of just relying on one generic message come December.
3 different angles.
Yes. One campaign should appeal to the heart, a single, deeply emotional testimonial. Another has to appeal to the head show quantitative impact, clear outcomes. And the third should focus on urgency, addressing an immediate, critical need that a donation on that specific day will meet.
That makes the work really tangible. So instead of scrambling to write one broad appeal in late November, you're actually road testing 3 distinct messages right now to see what performs best with your audience.
Exactly. Consistency and clarity are foundational, but the advanced strategy is all about pre-testing. The messaging has to be clear, consistent, emotional, and persuasive across every single platform, from a website banner to a 15-second TikTok video.
So by preparing that diverse content now, you can pivot quickly.
You can pivot if one message just isn't resonating during the actual event. And what's more, visibility on Giving Tuesday isn't achieved solely through your own channels. You have to strategically identify and secure external platforms.
Meaning you need partners.
Meaning you need to go beyond traditional email outreach and target new audiences through strategic, mutually beneficial partnerships.
We're moving toward the next pillar. I can feel it. But let's just linger here for a second on outreach.
Sure.
When an organization is juggling all this campaign prep, isn't it kind of distracting to try and onboard local businesses or influencers for partnerships now? Why not just focus on optimizing the organization's existing social media budget?
That's a valid concern about resources, for sure, but the payoff for early partnership vastly outweighs the administrative cost. If you wait until late November, those partners, the local business owners, community leaders, social influencers, they've already committed their holiday budgets and time.
They're already spoken for.
They're spoken for. They're focused on other causes or their own retail campaigns. Securing a commitment now, even if it's not a monetary one, is crucial.
So what does that look like?
Well, think of it this way. Partnering allows you to tap into their highly targeted audience without having to pay for that impression. If a local brewery agrees to mention your cause in their newsletter in exchange for recognition, that's immediate access to a demographic that might not even be on your radar.
And to make that partnership work, you need to give them good content.
You do. To stand out, you need specific visual proof points, high-impact videos, recent photos, beneficiary testimonials, all curated and ready to be shared by those partners across their networks.
That's powerful. Leveraging someone else's trust and their platform to gain traction in all that pre-holiday noise. That focus on external platforms brings us directly to our third pillar of preparation: synergy.
Yes.
And the sources offer this genuinely insightful definition of the competitive landscape. We often instinctively view other local nonprofits as competitors, right?
Right.
Fighting for the same donation dollar.
That's the default mindset.
But the research suggests the real competition is something far larger. It's the massive advertising budgets of, and I'm quoting, the big box stores and the endless distractions of the digital age.
It's not charity versus charity.
No, it's people prioritizing a new appliance during a Black Friday sale over making a philanthropic choice.
And when you realize the collective threat is commercial distraction, the entire framework changes. You stop seeing a local charity with a similar mission as a rival.
And you start seeing them as,
As an essential strategic partner, together you can create a powerful collective force that can cut through that commercial noise in a way no single organization can.
this idea of synergy, it offers immediate, measurable benefits.
It dramatically amplifies the visibility of everyone involved because you're seamlessly sharing network contacts and resources. And crucially, it delivers a stronger, unified message to the community that says, we are all working together to improve this place.
Which builds so much more trust than individual appeals.
So much more.
Can we break down a practical example of effective synergy that has to be planned today? It's easy to say collaborate, but it's hard to execute.
Right.
What does preparation for this pillar actually look like?
Preparation means identifying potential partners not just by mission alignment, but by shared audience demographics.
Yeah.
For example, if you're an environmental nonprofit focused on local clean water,
Okay.
partnering with a regional organization that focuses on public health is highly synergistic. You share resources like list management, graphic design costs, and you co-write a unified press release focusing on the collective impact. Clean water equals healthy families.
I can immediately see the efficiency gain there. But what about the administrative friction? Partnering often means combining data, aligning branding, sharing credit. Is the overhead of managing that collaboration worth the effort, particularly for a short-term event like Giving Tuesday?
And that is precisely why the preparation has to happen now.
Okay.
If you wait until late November, that administrative friction will completely overwhelm the benefit. Strategic preparation involves defining operational roles immediately. Who manages the shared social media calendar? Who tracks the combined donation metrics? Who's handling the cross-promotion logistics?
Getting all that worked out ahead of time.
And the sources also highlight that effective synergy often involves non-traditional partners as well. A public school foundation benefits hugely from collaborating with a local credit union that's offering matching funds.
Or a business partner.
Or a regional tech company that provides in-kind services, like building a campaign landing page. These business partnerships pool resources and ideas, and that dramatically drives the campaign forward.
The beauty of that is the collective message. When the community sees multiple distinct organizations, charities, schools, businesses, all supporting the same event, it creates this sense of collective purpose that motivates giving far more than a single isolated plea.
It signals trust and stability.
Absolutely.
Working together extends your reach far, far beyond what any single organization could achieve on its own, and sends that crucial message of unity. The shift from a mindset of scarcity fighting for the same dollar to one of abundance, where you're generating new resources through unified action, that is the competitive advantage of early preparation.
That's a powerful note to end on. Synergy over scarcity, preparation over panic.
Exactly.
So to synthesize this entire deep dive, the lesson from the sources is, well, it's undeniable. Giving Tuesday is a long-term strategic launch pad, not a short-term sprint. But only if you start your plan now.
Time is now.
The 3 essential pillars you must focus on today are cultivating long-term donor relationships by prioritizing the small dollar giver's retention, maximizing visibility through a compelling, pre-tested, multi-campaign case for support, and achieving synergy through smart resource-sharing collaboration with both mission-aligned partners and local businesses.
It's a comprehensive approach.
It is. Start planning the how right now to truly maximize the long-term benefits of this powerful philanthropic event.
And that leads to a final provocative thought we want you to consider based on everything we've just covered.
Okay.
If the core strategic challenge on Giving Tuesday is truly competing with the retail giants and all that endless digital noise, then the solution demands innovative, deep collaboration. So this raises the question for you. Beyond the obvious mission-aligned charities and local businesses, what completely new, non-traditional partners or platforms are you currently overlooking?
Things you wouldn't normally think of.
Exactly. Maybe local artists, gaming communities, or niche online content creators. Partners who could not only amplify your message, but critically share their specific resources and expertise.
That's a challenge that requires some deep thought about where your potential audience actually spends its time. A fantastic place to start exploring those strategic avenues and to find more information on all sorts of fundraising methods is at fundraisingcourses.com.